Andrea, is it okay if we do introductions first?
Yeah, let's start with introductions.
Okay.
I'm Victoria, and I love the fact that I'm everybody's cheerleader. Like, I am cheering everybody on before myself. And I love the fact that I believe beyond anybody's doubt, and I've got enough faith for everybody.
My name is Crystal. What I love best about me is that I am stubborn and I am not afraid to fight for what I think is right.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay, my name is Lisa, and what I like best about myself is that I'm highly competitive. I'm down to show you that you're wrong, and I'm working hard to prove that people's idea of me is wrong. You don't know me based on, yeah, I look mean, I got a mean looking face, I'm a stoic Indian, but deep down, I'm a big teddy bear, and I don't like putting it out there. You know that.
Yes.
But I'm a person, I'm human.
Yes.
And I'm funny.
Yeah.
Happy.
She's so
I'm
funny.
I'm funny. I'm happy. I'm a good
Yeah.
cook. That's great. Yeah. I wasn't always that way, but yeah, I'm human and treat me as a human. That's it.
I'm Atiana. I love that I'm everybody's counselor. I'm on fire for God right now. And I'm grateful for second chances.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, so how would you describe your childhood?
I don't really remember having a childhood. That's how I would describe it.
Mine was just disjointed. It was just like, oh, little flashes here and there, but it was just so much, just like boom, boom, boom. And nothing is continuous about it at all.
Until the age of 9, my childhood to that point was pretty consistent until my mother and father, they divorced. And then from my adolescent years till teenage years, I had no foundation so far as school or at home. I bounced from house to house.
My childhood I thought was normal, and then I get here and it turns out it wasn't. I'm the oddball out because I had an awesome childhood. I had 2 parents. They weren't alcoholics or druggies, or nothing bad ever happened to me. I had opportunities, and it's interesting that I still ended up here regardless.
Hidden and sort of underneath what each of you said is that maybe there was some trauma in your childhood. And so why do you all think it's important that we try to address trauma in real time? Obviously, we can't go back and do that for ourselves in our childhoods, but why do you think it's important to address trauma in real time?
I believe because trauma is what shapes the individual as well as good experience. But if you just think about it, we're more likely to remember the things that hurt the most, right? And we're not able to process the things that hurt as well, especially if we don't have any guide or sense of direction. And so that's what makes our society today. And without lack of understanding, we can't begin to rebuild what we don't understand. So holding people to such high standards without remembering that they're human and that they've been through things is unrealistic.
And I think it's important not to just address it from your childhood, because I didn't have trauma in my childhood. I had trauma in my adult life, and I still didn't know. Even though I was an adult, I didn't know how to respond to it or fix it or where to go for help, or that it was okay to ask for help.
Right.
That's not something you grow up expecting. Like those of us who experienced in our childhood, it was just, that's the way it always was. You had to
And
know.
you can never actually prepare yourself for it, because even though I made it to my adulthood fine without any trauma, how do you plan for that? How do you plan for domestic violence or drug addiction or anything? How do you plan for that?
Just don't even know you have trauma.
Right.
Or you just don't even know how to fix it or identify it.
That's so true.
Because it's so normal.
Yeah.
It's just normal. You were raised in trauma, so you think trauma is normal.
Yeah, it was just something you survived. Like your daily life was just you survive because you're just waiting on the future to happen. And then you realize, oh, well, you have to do something in order to make that future happen. It's not just going to be a happily ever after the minute you turn 18. And
that's what I had to tell myself when I walk out of the cell. I have to remind myself, this is not normal.
Right.
Right.
yeah, this is not normal. I have to remind myself of that for real, because I will get to thinking that this is normal and it's not normal.
Yeah. And even just touching base on how you said you can't sometimes identify it because it's a norm. That's what creates the vicious cycle of the next generation doing it. And then I was suffering from domestic violence. And so that's what I projected as well, not even realizing that this wasn't normal. So I became somebody I didn't know wasn't okay.
Can I ask, what resources may have helped you or you and your family before your incarceration? What would have maybe supported you all during that time?
In my case, my parents were like meth addicts, and we moved at least once a year. We were in a different school. If somebody would have recognized that pattern and maybe checked into like what was going on, maybe that would have helped. I mean, I don't know, but it might have helped.
I think the same for me, because I did bounce from school to school and I didn't really have a good foundation, and I got in trouble a lot and I acted out, and I would have taken any kind of negative attention over no attention at all. And so with my plummeting grades or me cursing at school or being mean to the other kids, I wish that somebody would have asked, what do you need? What is going on? Instead of just scolding me or putting me in timeout or the things that I had to go through, because there was an actual need underneath the anger, because I didn't just act that way because I wanted to. It's because I needed something. I may not have known exactly what it was as an adolescent, but as a teenager, I knew I needed somebody to help me, you know?
I feel like if I would have just had the support and someone to talk to
Yeah.
that I could trust,
Yes.
they could understand what was really going on,
Yes.
it would have helped a lot. Because it messes with me as an adult. I don't know who to trust, and I don't know what I can and can't talk about now. So I would have been like, hey, is this normal? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And somebody could have like really given me an honest answer, then that would have helped.
I think for me, probably what would have helped me the most is identifying healthy relationships.
Yes.
Although I had parents that they weren't abusive towards each other, they worked as a team, I didn't know the dynamics that went into the work it was necessary for a healthy relationship. I didn't know. I just seen it. So when I got into my first relationship, I thought I had to stay with him at all costs because my parents stayed together at all costs. So I didn't know that it wasn't okay for him to hit me or to throw me around or to call me names. I didn't know because I was just so set on trying to have a relationship like my parents had. I didn't know the boundaries of what was positive and what was negative.
What do you think that people have as a misconception about people who are involved with the criminal legal system?
Oh man, that's a can of worms. I want to say all kinds of things because on the news, they paint us as the worst possible people, the dregs of society, the deplorables. They paint us in such a negative light based on one bad decision or even just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then we have to live that one bad decision, that one moment in time for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And they also have the misconception of that, we're not going to change, that we're not capable of changing, when in all actuality, some of us aren't going to be in here, forever. So this person you see on the news today might be your neighbor tomorrow. So.
And I'd like, they need to know that a violent crime doesn't mean that person is a violent person.
Right.
They are in here for a violent crime, or they even committed a violent crime. Whether they did or they didn't, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily a violent person and they're just looking for a victim every day. They go out like, what can I do?
I agree with what she said wholeheartedly. Just having the type of case that I have, I can't even watch scary movies. So I'm like, and I know that's so weird to say, but, I just can't even picture myself whenever you see my charge really being what they say. I mean, there's not enough stipulation in order for you to earn certain kinds of charges. And so for you to just have a generalized charge that can go for anything. It's not fair. And I'm not who they say I am on paper at all. Yes.
Anything bad that happens, it's like blanket punishment, blanket blame. But good things don't affect all of us. Like if one good thing happens to somebody.
What is it like to be inside? What is the culture like here? And if there's anything that you wish was different, what would it take to change some of the culture inside?
Like in here, it's like we're just, I don't know, stagnating, and we're just frozen in place. Like even if we're level 4s and we can never earn any more privileges than what we have right now, which is these same privileges as a level 2 that's out there in the compound laying in their bed, that doesn't want to get a job, that's doing whatever. I just think a lot of stuff needs to change about the culture in here. We need to start lifting each other up. We need to start building each other up, making bridges, and not just assuming everybody is not necessarily their charge, but what we think they are just by looking at them, in their face or like their physical characteristics. Like everybody has something beautiful inside of them, and I think it needs to shine. Like, you know what I mean?
Bottom line, like a lot of these people don't have anything to live for, right? And so they've been deemed unsalvageable. They've been told they're trash. They've been told that they're a horrendous person. And that's what they live by because there's zero incentive. And, they may not want monetary things like clothes or, just the materialistic. Sometimes an education, all the time, an education will make somebody feel different about who they are. I know from experience, I came in here without even a high school diploma. And now I'm in my 3rd semester in college or 4th semester, and I'm just different because I have something under my belt that tells me I'm not who they say I am. And so I think if we made a commitment to bringing more space and more time for education and programming, these people would want to change, not because they were told, but because they have a chance.
Well, the education building itself,
Yes, it's like heaven.
Not a part of prison. I mean, it is. We're here. We're inside the fence, but it's not prison life. Once you walk in that door, it's a completely different setting. It's you leave all. You're not an inmate in there. You leave all your prison issues, whatever, outside that door. When you walk in, you're human, and they treat you as an equal. They treat you as you would be a student in the world.
Yeah, this is like my first semester, and like I feel like I got like carried to death because I get so much encouragement just from people that I see every day on the compound to just go do it, you can do it. And so
So how have your views about education changed once you got here?
I've always liked education because my mind always needs a challenge. And so if I don't challenge my mind, I'll find myself in a situation that I don't need to be in. I'll try to fix everything and I can't. So education has always inspired me, but I stopped, worrying about my education because I felt like when I had graduated, it was like nobody does this where I come from, So it was all like, I got this done, And so when I got here and I was all like, I started noticing the people that were going to school, like it's people that have life sentences, people that are violent offenders. It's mostly those people that you see getting up every day making the prison run. So it was all like, I'm sitting here angry and upset and mad, when I could be sitting here letting that motivate me to actually go and do something and learn something from these people, And then it just gave me a whole nother outlook of everybody around me and a different look at prison. So that's what education looks like to me now, is hope.
Ideally, if we were going to incarcerate someone, the idea is they're going to be returning back to the community and they're going to be joining us. And something during this time would have been beneficial to them so that they feel rehabilitated or that they come out stronger and better than maybe where they were prior to their incarceration. When should we be starting reentry services for a person who is incarcerated?
Day one. As soon as you hit this yard, and because I have a long sentence, they deemed me unworthy of having any programs, and they want to try to work on you 6 months before you get out.
Yes, that's
What's that going to fix? That's nothing.
nothing.
Like, I know they say it takes 30 days to change a habit, but when you're living that way for 40 years, 30 years,
Yes.
and all of a sudden this is all you know, why try to fix them 6 months before they leave?
Yeah.
Start day one and start building them up as soon as they get here, so that way living here for whatever amount of time that they have to do here, that they're continually trying to work for a greater purpose.
Yes. Let me think about this. You're doing the reentry 6 months prior to their release, right? Okay. But you're shocked, steadily shocked, when people go out and commit the same offenses, or they commit violent acts, or, they become menace to society. But you give them zero tools while they're here, like she said. From day one, we should be introduced to rehabilitation, because we all deserve that, regardless if we're going to stay behind the fences 30 years or the rest of our lives or tomorrow. But it doesn't make sense for the community to lack reciprocity. It doesn't make sense. You've got to put forth something for us to grab a hold to before 6 months after doing 27 years flat with no sense of direction. We've got cell phones that are screen touch, that flip and flop and do all kinds of stuff. People that came here, they didn't even have back phones. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. But you want me to get out and navigate. I'm going to go back to what I did in '84 when I got locked up.
That's what I'm used to.
Because that's the reality. You come in here in the 70s and you get out if you're lucky in 2020. That's the reality of Mabel Bassett, if you're lucky. Because if you've got life with, you're going to get the no. You're not good enough. What you've done is not good enough. But you've given me zero tools to earn that worthiness or to change my behavior, And I really think 100-something days before I get out, after doing 10,000 days, it's not going to fix me.
No.
It just feels so dehumanizing. And it's making me think of questions about, like worthiness, right? Deservedness, but also with that empathy and grace. What are some things that that we could do, or that you feel like, hey, if I really had this, that could really put me on the path towards just a positive reentry, a smooth reentry, so that I'm not doing what I did to get here. If I'm allowed back, if I make it back out.
I just think hope and education is the most important things that they could do, because even if you never got a job, like as a professor in a university when you got out and you earned your master's degree in here, just the fact that you could do that and you became that person from what you were before you got locked up or committed your crime or whatever, like that in itself, it builds your confidence. Your recidivism goes to almost zero when you have a college education. And it just makes sense to encourage and to give more resources. But like right now, the education department here, we don't even have a fund. Like there's no state fundage for the college department. We survive off of grants, or we survive off of donations, or just people's family when they pay for things. Like, it's insanity. I feel like sometimes that they're trying to keep us where they think that we deserve to be. Like, this is what you were when you came in, so this is where you're going to stay.
There's a constant foot on our neck. And it will be, honestly, in my opinion, for the rest of my life. Because yes, I can do everything right here. And I've been here 8 years on a 20, so I got 9 years left. In my opinion, I've done everything right. I don't have any misconducts. I haven't stolen from anybody. I haven't stabbed anybody. I'm not a violent person. I've had a steady job. This is the longest job I've ever held in my entire life, even out in the world. This is the longest job. In 7.5 years, I've worked at education. And now I'm working towards, I almost have my associates, and I'm working towards my bachelor's right now. And I can accomplish all this and do great every day for 17 years. And then when I get out, it's a whole new prison. Because now I have to face society and worry about, do they know I just got out of prison? Do they know I'm a felon? Will they turn me down if I apply to live at this apartment or house? Or will they turn me down because I'm trying to get this job with my degree, but they do a background check and I'm automatically out the door, regardless if I'm probably the most qualified or hardest working person that they'll ever find. It doesn't matter, because guess what? I used to wear orange. Because now these 7 numbers associated with me for life. So that's a whole nother set of prison when I get out. And because I have 9 years left, And it doesn't sound like, probably to the world, it sounds like that's a long time. Like, why are you worried about it? You got 9 years. That's a long time, way down the road. But here in prison, that's a short amount of time. To us, it says you got 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
I get anxiety now when I found out I was minimum eligible. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to go to minimum. I almost kind of don't want to leave where I'm at because it's another set of prison. You go from one prison door to another prison door to another prison door. And I'm nervous. I have dreams of me being out in the world, and I know I'm out of prison in my dream, and people are looking at me and I'm like, do they know? Do they know I was at Mabel Bassett? Do they know somebody out there that knows me? It's a constant battle.
I've heard each of you say this word, Tatiana, and I think it was you that first maybe said it, but talk to me about the power of hope.
I think hope is just as important as food and air to a person.
Yes.
Without hope, I don't even know why I would even get out of bed in the morning, honestly. Because I am, like I said, doing life without parole. That to Oklahoma means that it's basically a natural life sentence. Like from 21 years old when I got arrested, I will die behind these walls, is what Oklahoma says. But the hope that lives inside of me because of, like she said, the members of TEEM and the Sarkeys Foundation and the women that run education and all the people that come in, the senators that come see us, I just see, like she said, the change happening. And it's just, I don't feel like I'm going to be left behind. I don't think anybody in here is going to be left behind, and there's going to be an exodus leaving this place. I think that we're changing hearts, we're changing minds, and they're going to see us as people again and not the sum total of one act we committed when we were freshly 21 years old.
Yeah.
I think hope is important. It's absolutely important. But also you need support to go hand in hand. They work together because I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if I don't have support to get there, then why am I going to the end of the tunnel anyways? Like, that's what I need. Like, I need somebody to pull me out of me drowning myself or in this place, or instead of Oklahoma drowning me, just drowning altogether. Just that support forces me to get up and put one foot in front of the other and continue to fight. Because I was so close to giving up. And I tried suicide. I was that close, but God said, nope, go back. It's not ready. You got to do stuff. Go back. He sent me back, and I woke up like, I'm a complete failure because I even failed at suicide. And then here I am, like I'm fighting my way back up.
Too.